and welcome to the 4th episode of Super Awkward Reviews with me, your hostess, Elle, Latham. It was a doozy of a week. I'm sorry I had to split these in 2 parts and do them so late, but I had a rough week last week and I couldn't do my review of The Pit from Bates Motel. So today I'm going to do Bates Motel in 1 part for The Pit and then another part for the newest episode, which is called Crazy, and boy is it. So first, where we left off, sorry for the background noise again, it's right in the middle of Hollywood, nothing I can do about it. I try my best to film when appropriate, but there's going to be noises, and I apologize. But that's what it's like living in a big city. I don't live in White Pine Bay. But guess who does? Segue. Norma and Norman and Dylan and the rest. So they all had dinner in the last episode with Caleb. It was super awkward and fun, much like this show. And so that's where we left off. They all had dinner. Caleb was cool with Norma. Norma was cool with Caleb for a minute. And then there was a gun run that we were worried about happening. And then that's in order to get the money to pay to get Emma at the top of the donor list for a lung. And that was a deal that was talked about with Dylan and Emma's dad. So that's what's going on there. What's going on with Normero is cray-cray. He's trying to help her, but Bob is getting in the way. So let's get straight into The Pit. And the pit is what is supposed to be where the pool is that Norma requested from Bob Paris in that awesome meeting between he, and Romero. She doesn't know what's going on with this pool. She doesn't have any information. She wants to get in touch with Bob the entire episode, but he's unavailable. You know why he's unavailable, though, is because he's torturing James Finnegan for information on Norma. He really wants that flash drive back, and he's going to get it any way he can. He wants to get Romero on his side and away from Norma. He can't deal with those two together. No, nobody can. So he wants to get their relationship squashed so that he can get the flash drive back from Romero. Romero is super high on life right now because he had a beautiful night with Norma in which they had a nice moment and he's feeling the love, and so he goes and gets her car back because he's a sweetie pie, and he brings it to her and she's all excited and happy, and there's this wonderful moment where they seem like they're gonna kiss and she kisses him, but it's like on the cheek and it doesn't really count that much, but she's so happy and he's so happy to see her happy. And she's just so oblivious to the fact that he's head over heels in love with her ass. So that's kind of weird. But then he goes to talk to Bob Paris. He wants Bob Paris to leave Norma alone. Bob Paris is like, you don't know anything about her. And he says that you can't trust her. She's using you. She lied about her husband and everything. So she's lying to Romero. And meanwhile, with Norman, he is approached by, well, first of all, he's super cray-cray. He's seeing Norma everywhere. He doesn't understand why. He's really just having a hard time adjusting to this new version of himself. And everybody else is too. We all are. But he's seen Juno, the little dog, still. So he's kind of off his rocker this episode, just like every episode. But he talks to Emma after Emma talks to Dylan on the phone, and they have a nice little moment where they're like, hey, hi, and all this stuff. So that was really fun. He says that he's going out of town on the drug run. Drug run? Duh! Gun run. Gun run for Chick, and Chick's not going to be there. So he's going in his place with Caleb. So they go, and then it's a total ambush, and these guys hate Chick, and it turns out the chick betrayed them. So that sucks. So that's what happens there. They almost get killed, for crying out loud. They end up in a standoff, and right when this guy's gonna blow Dylan's brains out, Caleb finds a gun that was put there under the truck, and he fires it back, and then they get away from the guys. So that's what happened with them. Meanwhile, Emma goes to Dylan's place, and she finds Gunnar, and it's kind of awkward, and she's putting these little treats down for Dylan to have when he comes back. And then he's like trying to see if she want to get together again, and she's like, no, I'm not really ready for anything romantic, because she's dying and all. But then it's like she's putting this little vase of like flowers on the table outside on the porch. It's kind of weird. So anyway, back to Norman. They're both the same now. Norman and Emma. Emma finds Norman near the pit, and he's putting up a fence, like a makeshift fence with a bunch of rope and stuff. He's doing a shitty job, and chairs and stuff that Norma told him to do. So she finds him, and she tells him, you know what, we've got to talk. It's not working out. I don't think you think it's working out. You're so obsessed with your mother, and basically, she mentions the mother, and it's kind of like, ugh. But then, she's right next to a pit, so it's probably not the best place to dump someone, so you don't get dumped. But it happened, and they hugged it out, and it's over. And now she can pursue his brother. So that's good for her. So that's what happened with them. And then what happened with Normera was very important, because he's at this point where he just wants the truth. And he goes up to her, he's like, just tell me the truth. What happened to your husband? And she lies. Of course, she lies. But he knows that she's not telling the truth, because he got the information from Bob Harris. Bob Harris wants him on his side, and he's like, you're not going to get me on your side. And then Bob mentions these other men and everything, and what's been going on with Norma in her past. So when she decides not to tell him the truth, he's like, I'm done, that's it. And, any chance of them having a relationship is over, and he leaves, and she's like, distraught. So she's in her room later, and Norman comes in, and they have this long, drawn-out conversation about his feelings for her, like sexually. Super awkward. Like, the whole episode, like, you can see that he's having these weird feelings for her. He's looking at her butt and her boobs and everything. It's really weird and gross. And, ew. But they talk about it, and she's like, it's normal, it's human, we're animals, and all this stuff. I'm like, no, incest, no. I know that your brother stooped you a long time ago, or possibly raped you, and you may think that's okay, but it's not okay, it's not, okay, Norma, come on. And then she gets super close to him, and like, holds him and stuff, and it's just weird. And I was just hoping that she was fake during that, or it was like a hallucination the whole time, but of course it wasn't. She's just that naive, I guess. So then that happens, and she's like, you and I against the world, that sort of thing. And then at the end, he ends up going into the basement, sees Juno, and Vision Norma comes out, and she's like trying to seduce him, and he's like, no, get away from me. And then he goes out and the dog gets out, and he's like, oh no, Juno, and he goes after Juno, but he goes out after the dog, Juno. He goes running after Juno outside through the street until he finds a car and this woman standing in front of it. And of course, it's Bradley. Bradley's back. Fun. We love Bradley, don't we? I mean, can you say first victim? I can't. Anyway, Bradley's back, so we'll see what happens there in the next episode, which is called Crazy. Can't wait to get to that one. I'll probably remember it better, to be honest. Normero's going cray-cray. You just know these two are going to end up fucking at some point, and I'm just waiting for it with bated breath. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next one, obviously, coming up after this, about Crazy. Episode 9, right before the finale. Big episode. Like, subscribe for more. Thanks, bye.